Hey, horror fans. Thanks for joining me for this review of The Turning. I don't know if you'll actually thank me for joining me for this review or not. Um, I'm not even sure I'm thankful for watching this movie, regardless. Um, Going into it, I heard a lot of people, back and forth, whether they liked it or not, and I found uh, most people did not, or at least most people had a problem at the end. So I guess I'll jump into that in a minute. But as usual, cast and crew and some of the information down below. And to start, I'm going to read this IMDb plot, which um, doesn't really tell you much. But anyway, a young governess is hired by a man who has become responsible for his young nephew and niece after their parents' deaths. A modern take on Henry James' novella, The Turn of the Screw. Okay, so that really didn't tell me much there, but regardless, this is based on a book, and no, I didn't see the book, so I know that that was one problem with this movie is that a lot of the people who read the book didn't care for the way they ended the movie. I don't know if there was any other complaints, but I know that a lot of people complained about the end of this movie, and I'll get to that in a second here, but really, it sets up where I believe the girl's name is Kate, and she's kind of like a teacher, so forth, and she gets hired to go and take care of this little girl in this giant mansion, and her parents have died, so it's a trauma, or at least you think it's a trauma, but she really doesn't play off like she's really traumatized by it. She seems kind of carefree and just going about her business there and being a kid, and it seems all good. And then there's also another strange lady, older lady in the house. Um, I don't know what her exact title is. Maybe I missed that. I don't know if they even said it. I don't know if she's like, I know she did some of the cooking. I don't know if she's the maid. I don't know, but I guess she's the only other person there in the house responsible for the kids, besides this young woman, Kate, who's supposed to teach the young girl. And so things are fine at first, besides the fact that it's a big mansion. The little girl, upon Kate getting there, shows her around, and I guess there's one really strange room where there's some dolls, where some sewing was done, and so forth. And that room kind of plays into some of the scares later on. Anytime you see dolls and creepy stuff like that. Um, so things are fine, but then the little girl's older brother comes home from boarding school unexpectedly, and from there on out, the movie changes very quickly. Um, at first, he's like good, he's bad. Sometimes he's very polite, sometimes he's very rude. It's back and forth. Uh, I guess it's revealed that um, learned. He was learning on the grounds there how to ride horses from a guy named Quinn, I believe. And I guess Quinn was not the best role model. So that kind of shows. Um, he's kind of makes him want to show that he's like male dominant and so forth. And Kate sometimes defends herself, but can't doesn't always do it. And then as I guess this movie's built on scares and being creepy and so forth. So as they go along, any strength, every time Kate tries to be strong, it's quickly taken away from her, and just so that's a problem for her as this movie goes on. But the young man here in this movie is played by Finn Wolfhard, which we all know who he is by now, and I guess it's a little bit different of a role for him. Um, he's yeah, he is a little crazy in it, but here he's being very foul language, which I guess he did a little bit in it, but I guess here he's just trying to be more dominant. So it's a little bit different for him. And anyway, I guess the real problem here is that they try to make some scares. Maybe there's one decent one where she ends up in this. I don't know if it's their pool or their big fountain in front of the house. I don't know. That kids, play a couple of tricks on her. There's another scene where they play like a flashlight game, and to me, it's one of those times where a movie gets real dark, and it's so dark that the scare kind of goes away because you just can't see much, or there's just too much, too much happening too fast in the darkness. They did nothing for me. I don't know if it scared some audiences out there. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of trying to build on a supernatural theme here. They give you many instances where you think there might be a ghost in the house or another presence. There's a lot more to the story of Quinn, this guy that's there, and another woman. I don't remember if it was the wife of their parents, or if it was some other woman that was working there. I didn't quite catch all that. But something definitely happened, and I don't think I'm really spoiling anything. I'm gonna assume that everybody who watches more. A lot of I didn't read the book, but a lot of the people who watch the movie are interested because of the book, so they know a lot more of what is going on in this movie than I do, or what is expected in this movie than I do. But I just kind of checked it out because it was one of the newer movies to come out, and I saw maybe I shouldn't have because I saw a lot of the complaints, and that kind of already gave me a bad vibe going into it. But the movie really didn't do anything to dispel that. I don't know what people were expecting at the end, so but again, for me, the ending also was. I don't even know what happened at the end, really. I mean, it was just they leave it where I guess maybe it's to your interpretation. Maybe if you know the book and maybe know the characters a little bit better, maybe you know what was supposed to happen and what didn't happen. I don't know. It seemed like it ended and then it kind of like rebooted and then ended again, and I just didn't care for that. And I guess they just leave, at least in my eyes. Maybe I wasn't paying attention enough. I don't know what was going on there, but they just left it a little too open. And Kate, she seems like a nice girl or whatever, but she also has an issue back home or in her past or whatever, and I guess that also plays a role in this. So they kind of leave it where a couple of different things could happen. How much you believe that there was a ghost in this house or not. How much you believe that the kids were really just messing with her tremendously. Or if whatever's happened in Kate's past is basically come back to haunt her. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can interpret it. I don't know which way the correct way or not. I don't know which way the book goes with it. But to me, it did nothing, and the scares really didn't do nothing for me. They make it very dark. I thought it was funny in the beginning of the movie they mentioned Kurt Cobain's death, so I guess they kind of paint the time, even though once you get there, there's something about the movie where they still have their phones and some of the boy has some instruments and whatever that might seem a little bit more modern, but because they're in a mansion and they seem to be like out of the way and in a different area of the world, they kind of make it seem like maybe it's an older theme movie. But again, and what I mean by that is even older than when Kurt Cobain passed away. But they kind of set the time period there. But then they make it seem like the movie should be even older, or that everybody should be in another a little bit further out of time. I don't know. That was just the impression I got. Maybe it was just the whole mansion thing. But regardless, it starts off okay. I can kind of see, where they're going with the scares and so forth. And then they start drawing in the story of Quinn or whatever. But then at some point, maybe towards the second half, as it turns towards that final act, I guess, they just leave it in so many different directions, and I guess Kate kind of spirals out of control. Like she's trying to hold on, and then just spirals, and then when she does, it just kind of loses. It lost me, and maybe I just didn't like it because maybe I was just confused. I would have loved to say it was a movie that I could go back and watch again to maybe catch anything I missed, but it really didn't do anything enough to make me really want to do that. So with that, I'm going to probably join everybody else and just not really liking this movie and giving this probably a 1.5 pools of blood. There was nothing wrong with the acting or anything. That was probably one of the better things in the movie. Between Finn and the little girl and Kate, they all did fine. But the scares didn't do anything for me. A little too dark, and definitely the ending. I don't know what the hell's going on there. So with that, 1.5 pools of blood. I don't really like doing reviews when movies are bad, but I figured everybody else is watching this movie or it's been talked about, so why not throw out my opinion and so forth. So with that, again, all the information is down below. Feel free to comment whether you agree, disagree. We can talk about it. Maybe you want me to fill me in on what really happens and maybe a little bit on the background of the book. I don't know. But feel free to do so in the comment section. Please subscribe for more movie reviews, and we'll hopefully have some more stuff coming to the channel soon. And hope everybody's being safe out there in the apocalypse. And more reviews if you need more reviews while you're sitting at home social distancing and doing nothing. horosgoryreviews.blogspot.com. I'll have that down below with the social media information as well. So I thank you for your time and joining me for this review. And until next time, horror fans.